everyone, welcome back. I'm here with my September plan with me, and I know it's a little late. I'm sorry. I've just been really busy, and also I've been playing a lot of video games, like a lot of them, more than I should be. I got really into Teamfight Tactics, which is a League of Legends auto chess game, and then also World of Warcraft Classic came out. I didn't think I was going to play it at first, but then I got hooked somehow. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of recap how my happiness project is going. I've kind of been losing steam on this project. Year-long projects are really hard, but I have been doing some coding this month, which was my focus. And then I can flip forward to the page for August and we can look at the specific goals here. So I did start my gift knitting, but unfortunately I didn't do any of my other goals, which were kind of to experiment with other crafts that I know, which is spinning yarn and also lace work, which I'm still really just learning. I'm not very good at it yet, and I haven't done much practicing, but I ended up doing a lot of yard work this month, and that took a lot of my extra time, and then by the end of it I was exhausted. So I'm just gonna fill in a little bit of journaling about how much progress I made this month and kind of what my plans are going forward. It's been really interesting doing this happiness project to kind of see how goals change throughout the year. I think I expected some amount of change and a little bit of like drift, but I don't think I expected quite this much. The good thing about September, as we'll see, is that the goals are a little bit more open-ended. So the big one for September, which the focus for September is kind of like tidying the mind and getting things off my mind. So the first big goal is meditation, and this is not a habit I have kept up. I did really well in January and I think a little bit of February. But since then, that habit has completely fallen off of my radar. I've put it on some habit trackers recently, but I just haven't done it. So the big push for September is getting that back in my routine. The next goal is to close 2 open projects. So these should be kind of small, maybe like little concept projects that I was interested in, just to see if I could do it or to see what would come of it. I haven't decided which projects I'm gonna focus on closing yet, but the idea is that these things have been kind of sitting and waiting for some attention, and now I can finish them, close the books, and free up that mental space a little bit. And then the next goal is to do 1 home improvement project. So I think the project for this is going to be kind of the overhaul of my yard. I've been working on it a little bit, but there's still quite a bit of work to do. And then finally, at some point, I want to check in with my goals. I want to see where I'm at and see what I want to do and kind of make a new plan for the final quarter of the year, which will start in October. Easily the most difficult part of September is going to be getting that daily meditation in. I specifically wanted to do longer ones, so I'm going to call 30 minutes the minimum for it to count for this goal. And I do, as you know, I do struggle with kind of maintaining a routine a little bit, so that's going to be priority 1. It's going to be the one thing that's going to probably trip me up the most. And as I was editing this, I realized I completely skipped over my August goal overview page, which kind of goes to show just how much I've been using it, which is to say not very much at all. So I'm not even going to bother editing that part in. I'm going to do things a little bit differently in September. So the first thing I'm going to show you is some notes that I took for what I wanted to focus on in September. I realized that I'm just not doing the goals I set out for myself, at least not consistently. So what I did here was I really broke down what I want to accomplish. I made a clear priority list. My plan is to sit down each day, when I'm ready to do things, and I'm going to start with priority 1. If I haven't met my target for that first priority for the week, I'm just gonna have to do it. You know, it's time for some tough love. If we look back on the weeks of August where I did all my tracking, I started off pretty strong. I got 72% of my broken down goals and my weekly goals done, and then it started to decline a little bit, 66% the next week. And you'll remember I started August kind of with a pre-made weekly, thinking it would help me write things down a little bit more. I ended up not really liking it, and I just went back to this kind of ad hoc list with the journaling space on the side. I did not journal regularly like I wanted to, but a lot of the weeks I really did do a lot of journaling. So I feel like this is just another thing where I need to make the time for it, and I am seeing kind of an upward progression of that. I am getting a little bit better, so it's not a huge deal if I have some blank space. Week 3, I'm seeing a little bit more of a decline with my goals here. I didn't even take the time to calculate out the average of the two like I did before, and we see some days I do really good with the journaling and the tracking, and some days I just don't. And this is the previous week to the day that I'm doing this. I should have this all filled in, but it's not too late that I can't go back and fill it in. So I think I'll do that when I'm done with the video. I'll probably post that up on Instagram. So if you want to see what this looks like when it's all done, don't forget to follow me on there. And this week I actually did get a lot of journaling done, and I just think it looks really nice. It's a good way to keep track of what I'm doing, like even when I'm really busy, writing down why I'm really busy and why I feel like I don't have necessarily the time to completely fill in my journal. It's helpful because then I can look back and I can identify these patterns. And this is the current week. I'm filming this right at the end of August, so I can fill this in before Sunday, and I'll still kind of be on track there. A lot of my September stuff um, is not going to really start until the 2nd because I didn't think including that first one Sunday was super useful. So that's when you'll start seeing me track all of the weekly goals that I'm going to set up. I'm going to leave this right page blank to finish up the weekend with some journaling, and I'm going to start September on the next page. And the only pages I'm going to set up for this are these 2 pages that you see here. I've sketched in what I want to have, and the basic idea is that I want to list out my priorities week by week, and I want to have checkboxes that I can fill in every time I complete a step, because it's really satisfying to fill things in and check them off. So the more checkboxes, the better, I say. So the right side is going to have kind of individual habit trackers, and then the left side is going to be more goal-oriented tasks. And then I'm also trying out this grid on the bottom right for cleaning on a weekly basis. I'm going to focus on a different part of the house every day and kind of check off week by week how well I'm sticking to that schedule. I'm just starting by drawing in everything with this micron pen, and there's a specific reason I'm using it, and that is because these are waterproof. So once it dries, I can go in and erase the pencil marks underneath, and then I am going to watercolor over it, and I'll talk about that a little more when I get to it. For now, I'm actually going to walk through my goals for September. The first one, and that is top priority, is to make another Skillshare course. It's been a while since my last one. If you haven't seen that, there's a link to it in the description. It's a web development course using the Django web framework. If you're at all interested in web development, I've got a couple of good reviews. People seem to really like it. So go check that out if you're interested. I haven't yet decided if I want to do a sequel kind of to that, or some other programming topic that I think is interesting. So my first step is going to be brainstorming what the class is going to be about. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave those in the comments. My second priority is game development work. I want to get 5 hours of work in, and I want to start tweeting regularly. to let people know about our game. I have made this goal several times and so far I have never stuck to it. We'll see how well this month works. I'm going to really focus on, once my weekly Skillshare work is done, get right into that game development and not procrastinate. My next weekly goal is going to be the mobile app I've been working on. I've been making pretty steady progress on it, but it has been very slow. It will probably continue to be slow this next month because I've cut down the goal hours a little bit more because it just seemed a little bit ambitious. So that's all pretty straightforward, just tracking time and kind of making sure I put in the effort on that project. My fourth goal, and as I'm reading these out, they're starting to seem a little bit crazy, like I've bitten off more than I can chew yet again. I'm just gonna have to keep the priorities in order and keep those in mind so that if I get through the first three and I don't have any time for the fourth one, that's just how it's gonna be. But my fourth goal is writing. I want to prepare an outline for National Novel Writing Month in November, and so far I've won the past several NaNoWriMo attempts, but I haven't ended up with a story that I feel like I can complete because there's always been pretty big problems with my outline with my story. So my goal for this year is to really spend time working out the kinks in the outline before I even start writing, so that when I finish writing and when I'm done with my NaNoWriMo draft, I have something really cohesive. And I'm gonna do that by focusing on character sheets or like character personalities and their individual conflicts, get the main plot outlined, and then I'm going to do a final pass I'm calling my polish pass, where I make sure all the pieces of the outline fit together. And my fifth and final goal is just going to be some home projects. We have to stain our fence, and for some reason I wrote deck. I don't know why I wrote that. We don't have a deck. I'm also going to dig up some cinder blocks that someone buried in the yard, and I'm going to do some tilling manually, which is very hard work, and I'm going to add some mulch and compost to kind of break up our very hard clay ground. So that's it for my priorities. Sorry for the lighting change. I filmed this on 2 different days and I realized after filming, like I finished filming and then literally just realized I forgot to turn my lighting on for this, so the lighting is going to be a little bit weird. Sorry, nothing I can do about it now. The right page, like I said, is going to have some habit trackers on it. So I have one for the meditation that I mentioned as one of my big goals. And then I'm continuing a lot of the ones from previous months that I had been tracking week to week. So I have walking 8,000 steps a day. I haven't been super good about this, but I have been meeting it somewhat regularly, so I want to say like maybe 60% of the time I've been walking 8,000 steps a day, and it's not actually as many steps as I should be walking, but I work at a desk and I forget to stand up regularly, so it's a work in progress. And then the next one is a goal that I have been kind of refining and changing slightly month to month, and this is my spending goal. And I wrote down spend less than $35 on average. So this is only including things like buying groceries, eating at restaurants, transportation costs where I can kind of adjust them, so like not insurance but gas and public transit tickets, anything that is not a bill but is just like something I want. Everything pretty much that I need to decide day to day, do I want to spend money on this, is going to count towards this goal, and the goal is to spend less than $35 a day on average for the entire month. So how I've been calculating this is just adding up all of these discretionary expenses and dividing them by the number of days in the month. So this month that'll be 30, and this is an attempt to reach a greater goal of kind of improving my net worth or my ratio of wealth to debt, which has gotten a little bit out of control with all the home expenses we've had lately, and I just want to stabilize it a little bit. And the next habit tracker is posting on Instagram. I've been slacking. I have stuff to post, I just haven't been posting it. I haven't been engaging with people, with all of you on Instagram, and I want to, and I need this little reminder of a habit tracker to make myself do that. And then finally at the bottom, we have the cleaning tracker that I mentioned. Each day is assigned an area of the house. So Monday is the office, Tuesday is the kitchen, Wednesday is the bathroom, Thursday is a rest day, so I won't be doing any cleaning on Thursdays. Friday is the bird room. It's really just like a spare room that my pet birds live in. It gets kind of messy because they're kind of messy birds. Saturday's vacuuming, which is then like an entire house thing. And then Sunday is going to be my day for yard work. Though since I have some yard goals, I'll probably actually spread yard work out throughout the week a little bit, but we'll see. And then I have a column for each week, and I'm just going to check off each week if I did any cleaning in that room on that day. And now we're going to get to the fun part. I wanted to decorate this with some watercolor since I have mostly been using just ink in my weekly and daily spreads for quite a while. I wanted to add some watercolor, and I specifically wanted to use some of the metallic watercolor because I love that stuff. I would put it on everything if I had the time and the materials to do so. I didn't bother with any illustrations or any real theme. I just came up with some colors that I felt like represented September. So I started with some reds and some kind of warm purple colors, and I transitioned a little bit into oranges and yellows. And the thought behind this is just that we're moving from warm weather into kind of cooler weather. The leaves are going to turn orange soon. They haven't yet. I can't really believe that it is September. I say this every single month, but I am constantly thrown off by the passage of time. It seems like it's happening too fast, always, but I'm gonna have to learn to deal with it. And September, I know from experience, is when the leaves start to change, so that's why I went with this warm, purpley, orangey, yellowy color scheme. And I think you can see this was really improvisational. I decided to give each section its own color, and then I just added some more dots, which, now that I mention it, really fits with the launch of WoW Classic. If anyone's seen that old video, the more dots video, where the guy's getting really, really angry at his raid for not being very good at Onyxia, it's such a good video. I mean, it's not good, it's more like iconic, which is a word I don't particularly like, but I think in this case it fits really well. So, now that I'm editing this and thinking more about it, maybe that's the theme of September, is playing way too much World of Warcraft and just kind of reliving my glory days. Is that too sad? Oh well. It's fun, there's friends, and I had a lot of fun playing World of Warcraft the first time around. I didn't actually play in Classic. I started playing near the end of Burning Crusade, and I did most of my playing in Wrath of the Lich King. So I'm not quite as cool as all these other people who are like OG Classic hardcore raiders. But I think I get a lot of the feeling that came with having a crew to roll with, having a group and doing raids and working together. It was a really nice feeling, and I don't know that I have anything that gets me that feeling today because I'm not part of any like club that meets regularly, but maybe I should be. Maybe that's what I can learn from this WoW Classic release. that I need to build in that sense of community, maybe with a book club or a writing group, or even just playing some newer video games with the same people week after week. It's actually kind of crazy how much one video game hit so many people. But that's like a whole discussion. Anyway, this was my setup for September. It's fairly simple. I was trying to keep everything I needed in one spread so that I am not ignoring pages of my notebook, which I did last month with the August monthly goals page. Everything is right here, so I can check this page for my progress at any point and see where I'm at, which I really like. Making things easy to track is one of the best ways to track and improve on them. So I will check back here next month with my progress, and I'll also keep you guys up to date on my Skillshare course. So if you want more frequent updates on that, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna be really good at posting on Instagram this month, you guys. I promise. I shouldn't promise. What if I don't do it? Anyway, I'll try my best. That's my promise. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear how you're setting up for September. And what the heck, I'd love to hear if you're playing WoW Classic or regular WoW, whatever. Let me know. Thanks for watching. I will see you next month. Bye.